Hello, my fellow crest-wearing companions, and welcome back to another episode of Extra Time, the U.S. Men's National Team Soccer Podcast. I'm Tim, rocking the new kit for the upcoming 2026 World Cup. We're going to talk about the United States taking on Belgium yesterday. Disappointing result of the game, 5-2 Belgium. We're just going to kind of unpack that, see what the kind of thoughts are going around, react to some of the different things going on from content creators, from the media, from things like that. And, just continue running back. If you guys haven't already, if you guys could hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you want to see more content like this. Just like everybody else, it helps us grow the channel. If not, doesn't matter to me because I'm doing this for fun. All right, let's take it away. Doesn't necessarily matter where I start. We're kind of going to be all over the place. You know, I kind of like to go in linear order, just kind of give a rundown of the game itself and then get into all of the nonsense and semantics of it. So, first, we got to look at the starting lineup, right? Pochettino puts out the starting lineup, and even before this, he has kind of come out and he has said, the World Cup starts now. We're giving this message to fans, to the players, that, hey, this is game time. We're done kind of trying to figure this thing out. We're getting serious. We're playing really high-end, high-quality opponents. It's time for us to make a move here and go after this thing. And so we're expecting that a starting lineup that gets put out is going to be reflective of what we're expecting to see in the World Cup. Okay, when you make messaging like that for people who are following the game, for people who are following the team, you're starting to go, okay, whoever shows up here, it has to be pretty indicative of what I'm going to see in 75 days. Yes, 75 days when the World Cup begins. So, not surprising, a lot of people. We saw Balogun playing up front. We see, Pulisic out on the left. But surprising a couple people, we're going to see Weah at right back. Now, I know Weah has played as a wing back before, and, this is not necessarily like a massive surprise. It's something that had been talked about. It had been toyed around with, doing things like that. We see McKinney out on the right. We see Tillman playing in the front. Our midfielders, Cardoza and Tessman. Cardoza actually, been playing really, really well for Atletico Madrid, and just kind of getting that experience and playing at a high level. So he's played in competitive midfields with very talented players. We know that Belgium can possess the ball, the 9th-ranked team in the world right now. So, giving him an opportunity to say, hey, this is my spot, this is my opportunity. Obviously, Musa kind of uncertainty. Adams still not up back to 100% yet. And so it's like, well, who else are we going to kind of see in the midfield? Where's that depth going to be? Let's give Cardoza a chance to show himself. And then we see again with Tanner Tessman, okay, being the other one. So looking at guys that are going to earn their spots. Robinson back after over a year playing out on the left. We see Riemann McKenzie in the front because we have Richards, who's out with an injury. We also have the other Robinson, Miles Robinson, out with an injury. And then Dest not here, out with an injury. So we're going to have Weah playing on the right. So given that there's lots of injuries, is this the most ideal starting 11 if we were all 100%? We probably would see some changes. Given that we have injuries, this is a starting 11 that felt a lot like we're going for it. Okay? We are putting together a team that's looking to get a result, and we're going to try to impress. Obviously, you weigh this starting 11 against the starting 11 of the other team, right? You put together your top starting 11, and Belgium comes out with their C team because they're just trying to, all right, United States putting on a spectacle, trying to sell tickets, hosting the World Cup, trying to amp people up. But Belgium doesn't. Belgium comes out and puts together a very strong starting 11. So we have, and I'm going to butcher some of these names. So we have De Ketelere is playing up front. And then across the midfield, we have Salamakers, De Bruyne, and Doku. We have Onana and Raskin. And then we have De Kuiper, Michele, or Michelle, I can't remember how you say it, De Bast, and Munier. And then Lemens playing in because starting goalie's out. So Belgium coming in with a very strong team, very close to a starting 11. We are going to see a very competitive match. Now, before we get into the nitty-gritty, the details of this game, okay, here are a couple things you have to understand, and we're going to get into whether or not that's a good look for U.S. soccer as a whole or not, and what it means for casual fans that are coming in. That's going to be something we're going to get to. So we have had an agreement between the coaches that you basically can use as many substitutions as you want. We're getting rid of this, like it's a friendly, we're testing players, we're just going to kind of go for it. So we know going in that each team is going to be using between 8 and 11 subs. You're going to see a completely different set of players. If you look at the substitutions, the United States subbed 8 of their 10 players, Belgium subbed all 10 of their 10 players. So when you're going into the game, when you're thinking about that being a possibility, when you know that it's going to be a possibility, it leads you to believe the first half is going to be very competitive. The second half is going to be nothing. Right? Just one, that's the way with most friendlies, is that the first half is very competitive when you're starting your starters. Okay? Obviously, if you're not starting your starters, then it's just a friendly and it's whatever going to happen. But you're looking at the starting 11 and you're going, okay, we're going to play these guys hard for 45 minutes because we want to see what it's like against a top 10 opponent. And then we're just going to kind of let's just rest these guys because Portugal's another top 10 opponent, top 5, I believe. So we're going to do the same thing there, right? We're going to make sure that we give players who are kind of on the fringe a chance to get these spots. Now, obviously, giving players a chance who might be on the bubble, this opportunity to earn their spot, does contradict a little bit with Pochettino's expression of the World Cup has already started. No, you don't have to name your squad until I believe it's May 26th, right? So stay tuned for that because we are going to have a live reaction to that here on this channel. I know that, of course, everybody else is going to have a live reaction, but if you choose us, we'd appreciate it. The way that you're going to evaluate the game then is that we're not going to be as concerned with the total result of the whole game because once the substitutions start happening, the result is no longer relevant. It's watching individual players. It's watching mechanics, tactics, things of that nature. So we have to really evaluate the game differently in that capacity, okay? That's the first thing. 2 other things that we're going to talk about before the match even starts. 1, this is a pretty sick kit, okay? Mine shows up like an hour before the game, put it on, very different feel. Obviously, this was unfortunately the most expensive jersey that I had to buy. So, Nike really taking advantage of the fact that they know that the World Cup is here and they know that people like me are going to shell the money out for it, whether they can afford it or not. Super comfortable. I mean, it's got the flag. I love this one. I think the away one is fine. I really enjoyed this. I like that it's got the flag on it. It's really unique. Did it knock it out of the park for the World Cup? No. Did it drop the ball and fail? Also no. I think if this is just like a regular kit for any of the matches, you're giving this like a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 because it's for the World Cup. Maybe we're a little bit more critical and we're looking at 8s. But either way, the other thing that you have to talk about, this jersey compared to Belgium's jersey, okay? Not to get super brain sciencey on you, most of the definition in your vision is in the center. Man, in your peripheral vision, do things really, the resolution just crashes, okay? We know that from detail, we know that from color, we know that from all of it just kind of crashes. When you're playing in a sporting game, you are watching lots of things in your peripheral movement, okay? In your peripheral vision. If the jerseys look the same at a distance, you're going to make some mistakes, okay? Now, having watched the game, did it feel that way? Not really, but from a fan's perspective, okay? And this is something that Alexi Lala said on his podcast that I definitely agreed with. I love that he said it. The federation itself, this is not a team issue. This is the federation itself. You are presenting these massive matches to get everybody excited for the World Cup, to get everybody hyped up for the World Cup in venues that are hosting World Cup matches, right? So now you're starting to get just any American, right, who does it, like the people who watch the Olympics, who would never watch the sports, period. Those people are going to start showing up for soccer. And they're watching this game, and they cannot tell the difference between who is wearing an American jersey and who's wearing a Belgium jersey. That is not a good look. I agree with Alexi Lau. It is unacceptable. There needs to be some kind of repercussions for this. Somebody needs a talking to, reprimand. Like, this can't happen. I don't know if it's on the federation for knowing this and making it if it goes down to them, if it's on the referees for looking at the jerseys and saying it's fine. Like, I don't know what it is. Now, the players themselves said, I mean, like, yeah, it wasn't great, but like, I don't really didn't read too many quotes of players being like, yeah, that just made me completely butcher it. There were players who said, obviously, you're looking up at first glance and trying to find somebody, and you're just kind of looking at the colors. There's a lot of white in this. There was a lot of white in Belgium's jersey. That's there's a reason that in sports we have a white jersey and a colored jersey, right? Like, you just wear all the colors as the away team and you wear basically all white as the home team because it basically looks like white and black in your peripheral vision, okay? So those were bad looks for the environment and the atmosphere as a whole. You're already looking at elevated ticket prices, which are absolutely insane. It's one of the reasons that myself and my friends are not going, not willing to spend $2,400, $2,600 on a ticket, keeping in mind that's just the ticket to the game. That's not the hotels, which I've heard stories already of individuals who had purchased hotels for the entire week, and the hotel canceled their reservation and then basically charged them for one night what they had already spent for the whole week. So we know that the greed is coming in. We know that the capitalist machine is coming in. And my belief, I'm very pessimistic about this, is that unfortunately you're going to see a lot of individuals at games who have the money to do it and are not necessarily the biggest fans and the biggest supporters. This has been the issue in England. If you're listening, I've been listening to a lot of England talk radio and things like that. That's obviously a podcast, an episode for another podcast. We're here to talk about this Belgium game. So just kind of laying those things out of the way. We're looking at the result of the first half. We're really upset about the jerseys, and just trying to give the federation thing as a whole. The other piece is, which we'll talk again about it afterwards, you've put these games together to hype the U.S. men's team up. You're going to have a lot of people watching the game that don't know, okay? There are not a lot of people who are going to be tuning into these games who don't follow soccer, who don't know about the U.S. men's team, who can also tell you where Belgium is located on the map. Losing 5-2 to Belgium, to a country that most people haven't heard of, is not a good look. That is completely separate from what actually happened on the pitch. That is completely separate from my thoughts on the game. That is just the reality. It is what it is. So, notes, minute by minute. Okay? Through the first 10 minutes of this game, we opened up, very briefly, maybe first couple minutes, we were very sloppy, not acting like anybody wanted the ball, really kind of uncertain, right? So I don't know if it's nerves, if it's the pressure of the situation, but obviously it's like, okay, we're up here against Belgium, and then all of a sudden everybody's in this. It's not my responsibility mode. Okay, thankfully, we settle that thing down, and then we're going to attack the wings, right? We are really, really good offensively on the wings. We are not so great defensively on the wings. The story of this match was the wings. Both teams were very dangerous going down the flanks. They were very dangerous getting the ball into the box. Unfortunately, Belgium was just more dangerous. Belgium had better defenders on the wings, which I almost don't even agree with, but because of the result of the game, you kind of have to say, well, stats say yes. I thought that we pretty handedly took out their backs, their wing backs, and I thought that they struggled a little bit against ours, with the exception of Doku, because I know that they gave the stats that Doku had only, in his 6 attempts to go one-on-one, had only captured 2 or 3 of them. I mean, at one point I thought he was 11 for 11. I understand we got stops, but when stops result in corner kicks or stops result in deep throw-ins for us in our end, it doesn't feel very good. We had some miscommunication as we're trying to gather and defend as a team. This was a theme that ran throughout the entire game. It really didn't feel like when we were defending as a unit that we understood what that looked like, and we just kind of put 9 people behind the ball just for the sake of doing it, and we wound up in lots of situations where 3 of us were marking one player, but actually nobody was marking them. That person was near 3 of our guys, but it didn't really feel like it was anybody's responsibility. And when Belgium started to kind of knock the ball around, which we saw a lot more in the second half, we looked really confused as to where we were supposed to go and what we were supposed to do with it, right? there were a lot of players for us that just really didn't do much. You saw a lot of movement down the flanks. So obviously you heard Pulisic's name a bunch. You heard McKinney's name a bunch. You heard Robinson's name a bunch. You heard Weah a little bit. Cardoso we heard more defensively. And then obviously it was like a lot of Tim Ream. But outside of that, like, I didn't think Malik Tillman played great. I don't enjoy him. I don't necessarily think that he deserves a starting spot. I know he did great when we played him through all of those whatever games that we were doing. Sure, he's got athleticism. I don't really believe in a lot of fight that he has. Like, I just don't follow any of those things. You can rip me apart and attack me on this. I know that tons of people love him. I don't think that he's an enjoyable player. I don't think that he's a very good player. I think that he was kind of whiny, that he was fighting for calls a bunch of times. Like, I wanted to see people play with more passion. And to me, when you're being given this opportunity to play against a top 10 team, right, this is significantly different than when you're given an opportunity to just play against anybody else, right? You're getting your opportunity to solidify your starting spot, and you're playing Panama. Well, we saw Jesus Ferreira score like 3-4 goals, right? We've seen Pepe get hat-trick. Like, we've seen these players do this, and it's done nothing for them, right? This is a significantly different opportunity. If Balogun had put up a hat trick against Belgium, all of a sudden you're just like, well, duh, this guy's the starter, right? Like, duh, this is why he's doing this, right? If Tillman had comes in and Tillman scores 2 goals and we win 2 or 3-0, oh, duh, right? You got to put the effort in. And when the effort is, I kind of try to beat a guy and he kind of tugs on my jersey, and then I just cry to the referee and appeal for a free kick and sort of get it, that's not the kind of fight that we need from people putting this jersey on in a World Cup game on home soil. We need people who are going, if you're going to bring me down, you're going to have to break both my legs, because I'm taking this thing to goal and I'm taking everybody else with me. That's that fight that I wanted to see in some of the players. It's what I wanted to see in Tessman. It's what I wanted to see in Cardosa. I just didn't feel like we saw that. Even the same with McKenzie. I just felt like McKenzie was like, I'm going to go through the motions. I'm going to hit the ball to where I need to hit the ball to, and I'm just going to be fine. And like, fine, it doesn't get there. And that kind of, it's going to tell a little bit more how I feel about the result, and I'll get there in a little bit. But anyway, I'll just keep going. So I thought McKennie should have had in about that 16th minute. I really thought McKennie should have had that one. Obviously, that's a really tough thing. Like, it's coming to you. It's a really nice touch. The ball can only fall so fast. If it's a little bit closer to his feet, you're talking, if it gets to his foot a quarter of a second sooner, the ball's probably in the net. Honestly, it also, though, if it gets to him maybe later, it's in, because of the way that Lamens is coming across the goal. Really, Lamens is thinking he's hitting it left. He just kind of gets his wrist out. It catches his wrist. I mean, you're talking half an inch higher, and it hits his wrist and goes in the net. So, again, but it was a great opportunity for us. McKennie's going to get one later on. We're having really unlucky touches, but we were still better up the wings. Okay, about 30 minutes in, we're starting to see nice chances. We're certainly seeing much better play. Okay, so for like the first half an hour of the game, did Belgium get to attack up the flank? Yes. Doku had a lot of chances up the flank. It was obvious that they were just going to play through Doku. Weah was doing a really good job shutting him down. But what that meant was Weah was just playing right back for us. So Weah's not getting involved into the attack, so now we need McKinney up the flank, which, surprisingly, because I know fitness and whatever have been a fault of McKinney, he's just tearing up to Kuiper, right? So he's beating him to the ball. He's coming in, like, we're getting a lot of opportunity, but we don't have Weah's speed, right? We did see Weah up the flank a couple of times, hitting the ball into the box. Postive with that header up over the bar. Pulisic. I don't know why I can't get his name right. I'm wearing his jersey. I like say his name fine when I'm talking to my friends, and then I got to sit here on this, and I'm like, how do you say Christian's last name? And I have to like say it in my head to be able to do this, but it doesn't matter. Pulisic. I'm just going to say it a bunch of times. Pulisic, and then I'll still forget it. Anyway, so that's going to be like if there was one or two strengths that you give to Doku, it's that Doku was so dangerous that not only was he able to capitalize and beat our guys down our flank, he also took Weah completely out of our offensive game. Because if Weah gets caught up and Doku's coming on the counterattack, and we saw that a couple times, that was basically just it. We got torched, right? And so Doku is just torching us, right? Through 40 minutes, you're starting to see, like, if this guy gets through and he continues to get opportunities at this rate, there's no way we're shutting Belgium out, right? But it's a tough game. The game's kind of going back and forth. The United States is certainly seeing the better of play. And if you're a big fan, if you've been following this team, then you're aware that this is not the first time that our boys have found themselves seeing the better run of play and not really having anything to show for it. And the longer the game goes on, the more you get in the back of your mind, are we actually dominating this game, or are they just letting us do this? And time again, it's really just that they're letting us do this. Okay? We get the goal. We get it off the set piece. People miss their marks. McKinney finishes a goal, right? That 40th minute, we're up 1-0. We've had the better of play. And as I sit there watching us celebrate, I think to myself, if you compared the 11 players on the field, the United States, we were way more dangerous. Like, our players were better than Belgium's players. We had more dangerous players. We had more people making a difference in the game. Belgium, De Bruyne was kind of there, and then Doku was torching everybody else. That was kind of it. Onana had an opportunity, but really kind of out of it. Salamaker's a couple, but kind of out of it. We were watching lots of guys. Pulisic is making opportunities. Balogun's having opportunities. McKennie's having opportunities. Robinson's having opportunities. Weah's having opportunities. Cardoso was doing a little bit better in the midfield. We just had a lot more players that were shining than Belgium did. And so I thought that was a really positive takeaway, given that we're really focusing on this first half. Now, you have to take it with some grain of salt, because it could have been that Belgium is like, I'm just going to let you do this, and then we're going to play on the counterattack because we know Doku is going to be able to beat you. And as the game went on, they became more confident that Doku was going to beat our guys every time, which gave them a lot more comfort and a lot more confidence to just kind of sit in and absorb it, because you know you have a 100% chance to go to goal as long as you get this guy the ball, right? So we get it. We get another opportunity. We get another good chance. It could be 2-3-0. It's not. It's still 1-0. And then almost like a switch gets flipped. We score the goal. Belgium comes alive for a second. They start kind of trying to pound us. And then here it is. Doku goes in. And there it is. And so now it's 1-1. It's not a great goal by Belgium, right? Is it a nice shot? Sure. It's very difficult to hit a shot that's going to be that hard, that's going to be kind of coming off that volley, and it's going to be on the ground, right? But it goes through, I believe, Tillman, and it goes through Ream. And there's also an argument that, he hit it from pretty far out. So, Turner was close. I understand when my brother was here, he'd be like, dude, you don't understand how hard that is. It's down in the corner, and it's down on the ground. No, I totally get it. You can only fall so fast. Right? So Turner knew, and he's going and he couldn't get there. The guy hit the ball at you, Ream. So either get out of the way or block it. We kind of did him and Tillman's doing this half, I don't know what's happening, and kind of Ream's doing the half thing. Guys, he hit the ball on the ground. So you reacted before he even hit it, just assuming he was going to hit a blast and you were going to get ripped in the face, instead of being let's see what happens. Because that could have just been I just put my foot out and knocked the ball down. But anyway, so Belgium draws one back. Doku continues to make us look silly. You're looking at almost through that and the rest of stoppage time. Belgium really could have been up 3-1 at the end of the half, right? So we escape halftime 1-1. And your thoughts at the end of halftime are United States could have won the first half. Belgium definitely could have won the first half. But we go out of the first half drawn. Okay. I think I can handle that, right? Because I know that the game is basically over. It's 1-1. You know substitutions are coming because nothing's happened yet, and you know that both coaches agreed to 11 subs. So the game's over. All of the players that need to get back to their club teams, all the starters, all everybody else, they're all about to come out of the game. The only criticism now that you can make is who's Pochettino putting in and why, and then what are going to be the individual results of those players. Okay? So the first change that we make is that Christian Roldan comes onto the field. Okay? All hope is now lost. There's no reason for him to be on the squad. There's no reason for him to be on this team. There's no reason. That is literally all I'm going to say about it. I detest him that much. I am upset that he's on the team that much, that's the only comment that I'm going to make. He is horrible. Then we're going to keep going. So now we're going to see big substitutions, right? We're in the 51st minute. Christian just misses. I mean, just misses. He hit the ball out of the stadium from 8 yards out. You beat a ton of dudes, and then you just try to crank it instead of just going, I'm just going to whack the ball into the corner, which is what we're going to see. What's his face? We're going to see Luca Bacchio do, right? Is like when you cut in on somebody and you have the whole thing, you don't need to crush it. You need to just hit it in the corner, right? Luca Bacchio, we're going to see him do that. Christian just gives a fan a souvenir, right? But again, like, we're kind of coming out of it. You're not really sure what we're going to see in the second half. We don't know the tactics that Pochettino said. We don't really know what the players are thinking, any of those things. And then here it comes. Now you're starting to see, like, okay, we're starting to get tired. We're not really sure what to do. Doku's realized like this. And it's almost like Belgium had a conversation in the locker room where they were just like, all right, like, they don't want to double team you. They're just leaving one guy, so we're going to go for it. Right? We were kind of double teaming him at first, and now it's just like, all right, Doku, you're going to have at it. So 52nd minute, Doku torches us again, and then Onana's going to get a goal. In the 53rd, Belgium's up 2-1. Right? So another good opportunity for us comes shortly after that, right? But then what do we get? Tim Ream gets his handball. I mean, maybe from the first angle they showed, you were kind of like not sure, but then all of a sudden you're like, I didn't see the ball hit his thigh, and even if the ball had hit his thigh, why would it deflect downwards after hitting his thigh? So it's just kind of like, is it unfortunate? Yes, because his arm's kind of there. It's the rules. It hit his arm in the thing. It's a penalty kick. The wheels have now come off. All hope is lost. If you thought the United States was going to win or tie this game, that is no longer anything you should be thinking about. This game is about to be blown out of the water, and so now it's just, okay, what are we going to look at result-wise? Okay, they go up 3-1, and now it's like, all right, 60th minute, we're just going to start making a bunch of substitutions. Nobody cares anymore. Arvston, Berhalter, and Freeman come in. Okay. We are now watching Premier League players come off of the field, and we are watching MLS players come onto the field. Okay? It is very important that we say that because there are so many people in all of our comments, in all of the groups, who for some reason believe that the MLS is just filled with all these young, tough superstars who are just dying to have a moment to play in these big games because, gosh, if we just gave them a chance, they'd really show themselves. And man, oh man, would we be proved wrong. Because remember, we did it against Uruguay. We put them all in, and we had we beat Uruguay so badly. It's crazy. It's like so crazy to me that all these guys did this. No, this is what happens. You wind up, for the final half an hour of the game, watching a group of players who've clearly never played together, who clearly don't know how to defend as a unit, who don't know what to do with the ball once they get it, and are very panicked and scared, looking to create an impression so that they can look really good, so they can earn their spot, instead of trying to figure out how to play together as a unit. So now for the last half an hour, that's all you get to watch. There's no energy. There's no fight. And I'm going to say it for both teams. The final half an hour of the game, like nothing. There was nothing in it, right? You just saw individual performances from Luca Bacchio. You just watched a bunch of the U.S. guys, like, just basically not try to make mistakes as if it was going to, like, boost their chances of making the squad, right? If they're just like, as long as I'm not the guy that continues to make this any worse, like, life will be better. We were completely out of ideas, right? And then Luca Bacchio just bangs that thing in the corner, right? Arvston giving him like a gazillion miles of room. Roldan giving him a gazillion miles of room. Okay, just completely lost. If you haven't watched those goals, I really challenge you to go watch the goal and watch Christian Roldan just stand there. Just watch him stand there. You're gassed. You're out of energy and gassed. You've been on the field for less than 20 minutes. Less than 15 minutes, right? Right about 15 minutes. You've been on the field for like 45, so just over 20 minutes you've been on the field because they scored in the 68th minute. And he's got the ball, and that's your mark. And you literally watch his body, like he drops his arms as if like the ball had been cleared up the field. And then the guy dribbles at him, and then the guy plays it, and he turns around, and he's like, oh, that was, man. Then Arston's like, oh, I gave him, and he cuts and he hits it, and it's like, oh. Was that us? Were we supposed to do that? Was that? Were you supposed to have? Gosh, that's crazy. I just didn't, I didn't realize that that was going to happen. That's really wild to me. So then, everybody but Mackenzie and Reem get subbed. We bring on Reyna, we bring on Pepe, we bring in Ajimang, and we bring in Scally. Okay, we are so far out of this game. There is so little fight in the game that these substitutions don't even matter. I don't even know what Pochettino could have been looking for at this point. Because even if these players shine, like we watch Pepe get a stop and Ajimang scores on the rebound, even if they do something, Belgium's now subbed their whole squad. You're not scoring 4 goals in 15 minutes. It's not going to happen. And even if you do, it would have been because Belgium just literally stopped caring. They've subbed their whole team. I don't know what you're looking for, right? So your whole second half just becomes nonsense. We've learned nothing, right? It's only negative that's happening in the second half. The players you're putting on, you're not gaining any valuable information from them. You've put on a result that's so poor that even the fans who kind of like were like, okay, everybody's giving us hype. We're hosting it. I'm hearing my friends say maybe we can win it on home soil. The United States is going to make a deep run. Maybe they saw a post about how the group that we got in is really easy or something like that. And so like, I've never heard of Belgium, but Belgium's good. So like, maybe I'll watch this game and the United States will like lose by a goal or something, or maybe they'll tie or whatever. And then you watch this, and it's not even just that you lose, right? It's that like Belgium makes it look easy, right? It's 5-1 before we claw one back, and you clawed it back in the 87th minute. It's 5-1. You lost the game 5-1. You watched a bunch of MLS players try to control the midfield and play defense when like nothing was going to happen. Did Reem have like the best game defensively ever? No. Did Mackenzie? No. And when you're just letting guys dribble all over you and do whatever they want, this is the result that you're going to get, right? By the 80th minute, the note that I had put down was, you can really tell that we don't play together very often. The guys that were on the field really don't get an opportunity to play together that often. They didn't know what to do when they got the ball. They didn't have shape. There wasn't really any kind of a tactic. There wasn't any kind of anything. And obviously, I know that makes it a big piece when you evaluate the game, is like, what were the tactics? What did the coach say? Right? If you follow players, former players of the game, right? So like I really enjoyed listening to Stu Holden talk. The thing that I learned that wasn't, like I don't pay a lot of attention to some of these things when the players are playing. I'm just kind of like watching, is that the way that we had our central midfielders play and the way that we had our wing backs move, we had actually never done before. So the tactics that we were playing, we'd literally never done before. That's a plus. To go, we got out of the first half 1-1 when either team could have won. They're a top 10 ranked team. Like, okay. And we're doing things without even like the players that would originally be doing them, and they're all coming back. Like, I thought that's a win. Right? If you had to say, Tim, like, how do you feel about this? Right? How do you feel about this result overall? I'm obviously not excited about it. I'm obviously not thrilled about it. I thought the first half was fine. Do I still think Belgium was the better side in the first half? A little tough to say, because like, were they just letting us have it? Were they not just letting us have it? It's kind of tough. But the other piece that you got to think about is, statistically, if you looked at the teams who are going to win their groups and the teams who are going to continue to progress, the likelihood that we play Belgium in that round of 16 game is insanely high. I mean, it's on my chart. It's in most people's projections. As long as the United States does their job and wins their group, here we are, facing Belgium after we beat, I mean, I have projected Algeria, but, who knows who it's going to be. That says a lot about what you're going to do and what you're going to present in the match, knowing that in like 3 months' time, you're going to play the exact same team. So when you know that's even before the game gets started, you're not going out there and necessarily showing all your cards because you know you're going to have to play these guys again. So you're going to see players in slightly different positions just to see, in case people get hurt. You're going to see tactics that get played that haven't gotten played before just to see. And you're certainly not going to see it for longer than one half because there's just no way. It's also a friendly. You don't need players to get hurt, so all of that's there. Again, obviously that was a lot. I think the last thing that I could say is there's obviously a lot of conversation around the goalie situation that's happening right now, and I think that we've kind of misconstrued it. The way that we're presenting the goalie situation is that, we don't have a clear number one, so therefore both of our goalies aren't very good. And I think the way we should actually be looking at it is, we don't have a clear number one because they're both about the same, and therefore it really doesn't matter, right? I like Matt Freese. I was a big Matt Turner fan. He's fallen off. I've fallen off with it. I would rather see Freese in goal. I'm not really sure it's going to make too much of a difference, just like in this game. I really don't think it made too much of a difference because we just couldn't defend. And if you're not going to defend, then it doesn't matter who you have in goal. And more importantly, we didn't finish. And if you're not going to score goals and you're not going to give yourself an opportunity to win the game, then you're not going to win the game. Right? What do we have now going forward? So the United States is going to play Portugal on Tuesday. Probably going to see a little bit of the same. We're probably going to see a really heavy starter-led first half, and then we're going to see a lot of players coming off. If we don't, okay, because Portugal just drew Mexico, and it was kind of like a nothing burger. Just players did stuff. There were kind of some chances. Here we are. You might see B squad against B squad. And if you do, again, then you're just looking at players who are trying to earn a chance. You're not really looking at the result. So are people going to be excited? No. Are people using really crazy adjectives like we got embarrassed, we got dismantled, we got destroyed? I mean, yeah, they're using them. Is that entirely true? I don't think so. I think it's a little bit misleading. I think the United States really hung with Belgium in that first half. I don't think currently, the way that we performed, we're in a position where we would have beaten Belgium going on. But again, it's the World Cup. It's one game at a time. We've seen the likes of Saudi Arabia beat in Argentina. We've watched Morocco make deep runs. It just comes down to opportunities. If Christian had finished his chance, if McKinney had finished his chance, all of a sudden you could be looking at the United States 3, Belgium 2, or it's a 3-3 draw, and we're like, man, we scored 3 goals against Belgium, right? We can't be in a position where we concede that many. We got to be in a position where we score more. We knew defensively that we were in trouble. So the good news is, we're right on that. It's not something to be excited about, so it's not good news, but the good part about it is at least yep, we're right. We are struggling defensively, and it really showed. We're going to have to find a way to clean that up. But anyway, so that's all I got for this. I really like the jersey. I got another one coming in, but that's just kind of life. That's where I'm at right now. I really appreciate you guys tuning in. We are going to bring you another one after Tuesday's game against Portugal. Leave a comment. Leave anything that you got. At this point, we're going to need everything we can get. Still here supporting us. Still believing in us. 75 days till the World Cup.